Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your ultimate agent of Ultra Action. And today, as you might have noticed, we are going to be talking about the special 40th episode of Ultraman called Revive Ultraman, which has an interesting history, and we'll get into that momentarily. But before we get into it too much further, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and hit that subscription bell if you'd like to be notified of new content every day. Now grab yourself a big old bowl of hummus of perfection, and let's get started. All right.
Ultraman, here he comes from the sky. Ultraman, watch our hero fly. In a super jet he comes from a billion miles away, from a distant planet.
Okay. So this particular episode, final episode of Ultraman, called Ultraman, or Revive Ultraman, was released in 1996, March 9th, 1996, and it commemorates the 30th anniversary of the Ultraman series. Now, what it is an essential retelling of, it's subtitled. You can find this on the Internet Archive, if you're so inclined, and you can just download it and watch the whole thing. But it's an essential. It starts out, it introduces the Science Patrol. It only runs a scant 23 minutes. And it was released as part of the Ultraman Wonderful World alongside Ultraman Zerth, which we have discussed earlier, and I don't know that we're going to go through that again, and Ultraman Company. I don't even remember what Ultraman Company is about. It dawns on me, I should have included the 30-minute Ultraman special that was aired a week before the show actually started in black and white. You can get that on DVD or Blu-ray, and it's subtitled in English. But I forgot until just now. I was going to do my top 5 Ultraman monsters, or kaiju, or creatures. I've come to decide that I really like calling them creatures rather than monsters, because monsters is such a misnomer. It's, they're not, most of them weren't really trying to be evil. I mean, some of them were, the invaders, as we'll see. But so let's get started here. There's Captain. The show starts out introducing the Science Patrol, or the SSSP. Gives them their full names, which they had not had for the longest time, because they just called him Cap, or Captain Mura, Ito, Arashi, Daisuke, Fuji. They never used their first names in the show at all. In the English dub, I don't know if they did in the Japanese either. And then Shin Hayata. So they do talk about that he's become one of the Ultraman from Nebula M78 in the 40th or 4th galaxy, depending on the episode. And it shows him as he fights some monsters. And then it goes into the credits, which are lame. I'm sorry, this new version of the song is just 90s pop garbage. So it picks up right at episode 39, which we've seen. And just going to show some quick, the exact same thing happens up until the Science Patrol destroy. Well, they zap him, and Ito uses a new weapon, although it's not from episode 39, and we've seen it before, but I couldn't get a good shot of it. And they have added some new effects. They've also redubbed a lot of the dialogue, and if you're watching, you can tell. Although the first time I saw this, the first and only time, I haven't seen it for probably close to 25 years, if not even longer. It was subtitled by fans, and that this has never been released on any so far in a US version, which is kind of a sad thing because it's an interesting little artifact. I wouldn't say it was canon because it's just kind of silly, but it's kind of fun. I mean, I could see if they'd have done one more episode. They could have ended it like this, I guess, but um, I really have mixed feelings about it. It's not terrible by any stretch, and it's like I said, an interesting artifact, but it's not necessarily to enjoy the series. So they congratulate Ito, and now it's been a whole month since Zeton was defeated. The shocking incident, and Ultraman has not appeared. There's a discussion at the Science Patrol about Ultraman being seriously injured and why he hasn't shown up again. But they've been defeating monsters all on their own, and we get some flashbacks. And Hayata's in Never Never Land, and Arashi says maybe you should have a stamina drink like a Red Bull because it'll give you wings or a monster. Huh. Didn't even think about that. Should have put a picture of that in there. So, and then suddenly, but Hayata knows that more monsters are coming, and now Ito has a dream about it. Dun dun dun. Hayata doesn't want to tell him because they'll figure out he's Ultraman, but then Ito takes that out of his hands, which is kind of this was it's still, I think many of the original actors were still alive. Both I think Captain Mura, no, he was still alive, so they probably redubbed everything. Now Akihiko Hirata, who played Professor Yoromoto, was not alive, so he did not get any lines. But this was let's see, directed by Masahiro Subaraya, which it probably was a grandson at that point, or somebody obviously related. I didn't care for the new music at all. They should have just used the wonderful score that from the original series. But so here, yeah, and the Zeton are back again, and this plays out almost exactly as it did in the episode 39. But we've got some new effects here while they blast the Zeton invaders, who are holograms, which were not invented or were not widely known, at least in 1966. The Chemo alien, or the Zeton alien, does this again. Arashi punches him again. Hayata zaps him again, but he gets a little different disintegration. And then the mysterious alien's death cry that was a signal for the kaiju to launch their all-out attack. So we get two more right now. Why they chose Dodongo? Well, they chose it because it was in a mountainside, and we'll see why. And Red King revive. And of course, they're not nearly as strong as they were back then. But the Science Patrol goes out. New sound effects are provided for some of the monsters' rays. And then, Pigmon's back. So he gets revived every time. And you know what happens almost every time when you see Pigmon in an Ultraman show. Yes, because Arashi or Ito can now understand him. Apparently his monster speak or kaiju creature speak has improved. They blind poor old Dodongo again. Of course, he's just evil this time, so you don't really feel that sorry for him. Pigmon gets crushed again. You do feel sorry for him. And Hayata and Ultraman they're like, well, we're not helping now. We need to help. Once again, Pigmon has been killed because of us. Using the Beta Capsule, Hayata becomes Ultraman. And you see that, and now Red King's menacing them, but they do the triple shot there, and it blows him up and kills him, apparently. This would have been from the original Red King episode, not the secondary one where he gets sliced into 3 pieces. I like this. Kaiju, and they use the proper term kaiju because, as you know, Japanese has no plural. Everything is either singular or plural. But you don't say S. You don't say kaijus. You just don't. Just don't add S's to Japanese words. They don't need them. Sorry, that's my issue, and I'll get over it. Here's our new monsters: Coronia, Hydra, Wu, Gamora, my poor Gamora, and the one we saw that's fireproof. And it looks like, I thought that they showed Jamila there, but I was mistaken. That's just Hydra's legs. Ultraman figures out how to split himself into 5 So he can fight 5 monsters at once now, which is an interesting idea. Ultra separation, a duplication technique. And off they go. And then look at who else is here. It's my buddy Kira. This time, though, the spiral ray blows him up, but good. And then poor Gamora. I don't really care too much about Hydra one way or another. And Wu. And then Zambola, maybe. I just don't remember. And Coronia. So they, this is a new thing because in the original episode, Hydra doesn't get zapped. But this time he does. Coronia blows up real good. Poor Gamora. Everyone blows up. He turns back into Hayata, and then Zeton's back. So he has to go back into action. And he wants revenge to settle the score, if you will. Holding Ray doesn't work. So this plays out kind of similar. And the tremendous energy Ultraman receives from the sun diminishes rapidly in Earth's atmosphere. And of course, you've just separated yourself into 5 different beings. It's got to do that as well. But there's the S21P, or what did they call it? Zeta Ray? No, that would have taken him to Ranagar. Pardon me. Adam Strange doesn't know where he is, and neither do I. But this is a stamina capsule. They zap Ultraman, and he's now ultra-powered man. Ultraman powered. Oh, no, wait, can't be that. And the Spacium beam it's now Ultra Spacium beam or Super Spacium beam, and Zeton blows up, or even better. These added effects are I would assume early CG maybe, or just video effects. They work pretty well. It's just a 23-minute episode. It's nothing that you're going to say, oh, great. But here we are. We don't know whether Officer Ito's dream was about the all-out monster attack was a premonition or not. Well, but they're all happy, and that's it. No Zophie. Ultraman doesn't leave. I mean, he's still fighting on Earth. Now, eventually, he'd have to leave. There are a lot of weird implications that, he had to come back to save Hayata because they couldn't separate him and stay separated but we never really find out. I mean, if you see the sequels, he always assumes Hayata's form, but the sequels are set in the 70s and the original show was set in 83. Go figure. But there you go, my fellow agents. That is our final episode for Ultraman. Next week, we will start a new series. I'm still pondering what it's going to be. I've got several cool and fun, and yes, Lilith, I am using that word correctly. Several cool and fun series to ponder, but we'll find out together. How's that? So, until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off.
Ultraman, here he comes from the sky. Ultraman, watch our hero fly. In a super jet he comes from a billion miles away, from a distant planet land. Comes our hero, Ultraman.